Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you for joining me today. Today is our second video in a series called Way Out Wednesday. So what I'm going to be doing is every Wednesday, I'm going to drop a video on a subject that's kind of out there. Now, the first couple of these videos, the last video I did was on star seeds, probably not that far out there for some of you. And today's video won't be that far out there for some of you either, but I promise I will get to some of those really out there topics. But I really feel like I need to cover the basics, so to speak. So last week, we talked about star seeds. And in this video, we're going to talk about your spirit guides. Yes, I'm going to give you a little primer on your spirit guides. Now, again, this is how I see it happening. This is how I interact with them. And this is my opinion. You may find someone else that gives you different information or information that you feel makes more sense for you. And that's perfectly fine. Always go to the teacher or the source that resonates with you. You may start with the information that I'm giving you today, and then you may decide to go further into this topic, and you may learn more or something that's a little different, and that's okay. Okay, so let's get started. So my spirit guides, and you guys are pretty familiar with me, and what you see is me talking to my spirit guides basically in real time, and that is true. Now, I'm going to get into why that is a little later in this video, but I'm going to start off with what my understanding is of kind of the hierarchy. I really don't know of a different word to use. They don't really see it as a hierarchy the way we do, but I'm human, so what can I say? The number one in the number one position in the number one position is your over soul, O-V-E-R, soul, or your higher self. Okay, so we leave a part of our soul up there, wherever that is for you, whether that's heaven or the universe or on an asteroid, I don't know, but we leave a part of ourselves up there, and it stays up there throughout all of our incarnations. No matter where we incarnate, whether we're incarnating here on Earth or we're incarnating on some other planet or solar system, it doesn't matter. There's a part of us that always stays in this kind of elevated position. Now, you would also know that this elevated position is the closest that our soul is to God or the universe or whoever that is for you. Okay? So there is that part of us that stays there. Under that part of us is a separate entity, not a piece of our soul, not a piece of us, a completely separate energy or entity, which I refer to as the main guides, your main spirit guides, G-U-I-D-E-S. I know it sounds like I'm saying G-U-Y-S, but your main or your primary, or whatever you want to call them. Some people call them master, whatever you want to call them. Now those energies could be one, could be two, could be three. Those energies are energies that you have known before. They have incarnated on this planet at some point. Now that point might be 1,000 years ago, but at some point, they were here walking the earth. And at some point, they were walking the earth with you. So they have a specific knowledge of the earth, of how the earth works, of how this energy impacts souls. And they also have intimate and specific knowledge of you. They know your heart. They know your soul. Now, they may not have incarnated with you for 50 incarnations or 500 incarnations. It doesn't matter. You've chosen them for this lifetime to help you. Now, what are they helping you with? What is their purview? What are they doing? What can they do? What do they not do? So your main spirit guides are here, and they have one purpose, and that purpose is to help you on your soul path. So we come down here in this human form, in this incarnation, and we say, this lifetime, I want to learn this. Now, it's more about learning something than it is being something. Because if you think about it, you can learn compassion and be someone who works at a hotel, or you can learn compassion and be someone who's a CEO, or you can learn compassion and be a school teacher, or you can learn compassion and be a police officer. Doesn't matter what you are. You came here to learn something, to express your soul in a certain way. Now, I will say that some souls come here to express their soul in a musical way, or in an artistic way, or in a communicating way. Now, within that musical, you came here and you said, I wish to express my soul through something to do with music. Now, you could be a music teacher, you could be just a hobbyist, or you could be playing for a symphony. So you understand again that how you do this is up to you, but expressing your soul is your soul's journey, your soul path, what you came here in this lifetime to learn. Now, your spirit guides have your explicit permission, because you gave it to them when you signed on the dotted line, to come into this lifetime. Before you got here, all this was set up. So you gave them this permission, and now they're your main guides. And their job is to help you, first of all, to help you find your soul's path or your soul's journey, because that's not easy. And then secondly, to stay on it. Now, what's interesting to me is that there are parts of your life that will overlap with your soul's journey. So for instance, if you're supposed to do public speaking, if your soul's journey or soul's path is to stand in front of people and teach or speak or lead or guide or whatever that is, and you're reluctant to do that for a whole bunch of reasons. You just don't like it. You don't want to do it. It feels overwhelming, and you're not that kind of person. And what people listen to me, and you've got all these doubts and fears. But on top of all those things, one of your fears or your doubts, or one of the restrictions that's holding you back, is you feel like you need to lose weight. Now, even though losing weight is not on your soul's journey or soul's path, if your spirit guides think that they help you get in shape, that you'll gain the confidence to take the next step and step into that role of being a public person, then they'll help you. All of a sudden, they will start putting ideas in your mind. This is how they communicate with you. They really like to work with us on the down low. I've said this many times, but got a lot of new subscribers, and it really always bears repeating. Your spirit guides are not going to be so overt or so bold. To be honest with you, between you and me, they really like to get things done without involving humans, because we ask questions. Why? Or we say, no, I'm never going to do that. Are you crazy? Which is something I often say. So if they can guide you on the down low and get you to do what they want you to do, that's a win in their column. So they would rather not even talk to you, to be honest with you. And this is why they don't really talk to you. much. Your main guides don't really talk to you much. I'm going to explain that, but I'm going to continue with this, and I'm going to tell you how they would guide you would be, you wake up in the morning, and there's usually two things. First of all, you have energy, because if you don't have energy, you're not going to do anything. So you have a little energy. You're like, oh, I feel like doing. And then they put the thought in your mind of what you're going to do. So you may, to use our weight loss example, you may be thinking and deriding yourself and every other thing about your weight and how out of shape you are and how you've really got to stop eating this junk food and blah, 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 blah. But all of a sudden, one Tuesday, you wake up and you say, I'm going to join Weight Watchers. And then you go to your computer and you create an account and you pay your money and you sign up all before breakfast. And you're like, wow, I just signed up for Weight Watchers. That's your guides. When you do things from start to finish without really thinking about it, that's being guided. You were guided. That is them going touchdown. That's a win. So you can imagine that if you caught on to their guidance and you said midway between typing wait and then watchers into your search engine, you're like, wait a minute. I don't have time. I don't really have time for this. When am I going to do this? I don't have the money. I don't want to stand in front of, no, why am I thinking? Oh, bummer. You just caught them in the middle of their guidance. And now your human mind has kicked in, has a whole bunch of questions. Game over. Game over at that point. Okay. So that's why a lot of this stuff is going to happen on the down low. It's going to happen behind the scenes. I know if you take a moment, you can think of a time when you did something out of character, whether it's go back to school, send your resume for a new job, quit your current job, change careers, something like that you just thought, I don't know. What they're always reminding me of these colloquialisms that are so funny to me when they remind me of them, because it's a tip off that humans, we use terms to explain what happens because we can't explain it. I don't know. She got a bee in her bonnet is the thing they just said to me. I got a bee in my bonnet and I just went and did it. I don't know what got into me. Don't we always say that? I don't know what got into me. Don't ask me to explain it. Isn't that what we say? Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. I'm telling you what happened, and that is your spirit guides were able to, at that one moment in time, give you a little burst of energy and give you the idea, and you were able to be guided without thinking about it, and they did it, and bam, there's your success. Okay? So your spirit guides, your main spirit guides, it's not up for discussion. I very rarely talk to my main spirit guides. Now you're going to be like, what the heck? Who has she been talking to all this time? Right? Well, to be honest with you, I'm talking to my helper guides, which are the next thing that I'm going to talk about. So in my way of thinking, we have our higher self, we have our main spirit guides, and we have our helper guides. Helper guides don't even exist unless you ask for them. But all you have to do is say, I would like to have some help. Now, in the past, well, in the present too, we pray for help, don't we? Pray for help. And then sometimes our prayers are answered. Well, in my opinion, sometimes that can be angels, but more often than not, it's a helper guide. And I know this is not a sophisticated name for them, and I really should come up with something better. But to me, they're here to help, and they're temporary. One of my helper guides is Edward R. Murrow, who helps me with my political videos. I have a whole team of political guides that help me with my political videos. I have brought in helper guides to help me do my taxes. I brought in helper guides to help me eat better, to lose weight, to become more organized, to for spiritual security. I have a spiritual security guard. I really do. So these helper guides, and they also, who did they just give me recently? They gave me a guide again. Right. So even though my main guides have my soul's journey, I mean, they know, they're like, Susan is supposed to learn these things. Susan is supposed to do these things. This is what she's chosen to work on in this life. Those main guides will bring in helper guides to help you with your main soul journey. So instead of them talking to you, it's really, their energy is just not that accessible. The few times that my main guides have communicated to me, I mean, I've had lots of communication with them, but they just look at me with this kind of bemused look on their face. But the few times that they really came in and talked to me, now I'm clairaudient, which means that I have psychic hearing, which is not super common, but you can hear the voice outside of your head. You can hear the voice inside of your head, either or, objective or subjective. The few times they've chosen to communicate with me in that way was when I was about to do something really, for lack of a better description, let's just call it stupid. All of a sudden, this voice comes in. It sounds like Samuel L. Jackson. And all it is no. You know what I mean? Like God is speaking himself. No. So it's much easier for us humans, whether you have abilities or not, or you think you have abilities or not, it's much easier for us to communicate with these helper guides. The helper guides are really more on our wavelength, on our vibration, whereas the main spirit guides are way the heck up there. So if you're doing automatic writing, or you're using a pendulum, or even using cards, more often than not, you're going to be talking to your helper guides, because their energy is very accessible to us. It's quite a different thing to talk to your main spirit guides. It's quite a different thing to talk to your higher self. I'm not saying you can't talk to them. I'm saying it's a different process, and it's a much more involved process. A much deeper connection is needed to make that connection. And when you do make that connection with your main guides, oftentimes you just sense love, or you just sense this parental pride. You don't often get, okay, Susan, let me give you all the answers to this test in this life. Here it is. Go for it. Have fun. What's the point of being here if they're going to give us all the answers to the test anytime we ask for them, right? They want us to work for it. So we have our higher self, our main guides, our helper guides. Now, the helper guides, again, you just ask and you say, oh, I would like some, I really did this, and I don't know why I never did this before. I am not a numbers person. Numbers to me is like some foreign language that I just simply can't understand. And even though I've had my own businesses throughout my life, I still don't understand numbers. And so tax season is particularly onerous for me. And it always has been. And this last year, I got the bright idea to ask my helper guides to send me a tax person. And I'm telling you, it was bizarre. I sat down at 8 a.m, and I'm telling you, I didn't get out of my chair until 5 p.m. And I'm telling you, I didn't have a pee break. I had water, and that was it. I just sat there all day, like, and I got it done in one day. In the history of something like 24 years of be an entrepreneur, I've never gotten it done in less than a week or two. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was just like, I knew where to go, and I knew how to do it. And it was just easy. So you can ask these guides for help for anything. Some people ask for parking spaces, right? It doesn't matter. I've talked about this in videos. You can, and you're not bugging them. Another thing that I often hear is, well, I don't want to bother them. Okay. These helper guides, their job, literally their soul journey, their soul path is to help humans. So by asking them to help you, you're helping them complete their own mission. The energy is amazing. They are so happy to help you. They're so happy to be of assistance to you. And they'll be of assistance to you for as long as you need them. If you say, I would like some helper guides to help me with this really, remodeling project. It's huge. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm afraid I'm going to make mistakes. Okay. You get your helper guides and you start having ideas. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's subtle. It's not going to be Samuel L. Jackson. It's going to be subtle. You're directed, you find a website that has a particular thing that really is helping you. Or you find you're at the store and you mention you're going through a remodeling project and somebody says, oh my gosh, I did this, and boom, that solves a problem you have. Folks, that was all contrived. The fact that you went to the store at that time, the fact that you saw that person, the fact that you mentioned it to them, the fact that they had the solution for you was your helper guides arranging all that to happen. I've seen it. I've seen it in real life. I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in my clients' lives. This really does happen. If you can, they just guided you on the down low, right? I don't know why, but I'm going to go ahead and go today to that store. I was going to go Thursday, but I'm going to go today. You don't know why. You go, you're not chatty type, don't normally talk to strangers in stores. And here you are telling this person you're going through a remodel. And you're like, I never talk to people. And then this person is so helpful. Think about it in your own life. When in your life have you had a situation where you've done something out of the ordinary? That's your first clue. I don't know why I did that, but I'm glad I did. How many times do we say that in our lives? How many times have you heard your parents? How many times have you heard other people say that? I don't know why I did that, but I sure am glad I did, because blah, blah, blah happened. That's your helper guides. They're guiding you. Okay. Let's see what else. I want to circle back to, your higher self for a moment. So I didn't talk much about your higher self. Your higher self knows all of your incarnations. It knows all the soul journeys that you've been on. It knows all the, whether you've checked them off your list or whether you're still trying to get it done. I find that my higher self is quite serious, definitely serious. The energy is of one of, I don't know, it feels big. It feels like, to me, it feels parental, but it also feels big, really big. So how you would get in touch with your higher self, in my opinion, is you would go into a meditation or a trance or a hypnosis. For me personally, I'm very easy. I can go into a trance very, very easily. I didn't know that about myself, and you may not know that about yourself. But if you try, you may find that it's not hard for you. And a trance can seem like a deep meditation. You're not thinking, breathe in, breathe out. You're just out. You're basically out. You're somewhere else. Okay, so going into a deep meditation is the same thing. I often tell people you can do any type of meditation you want. You can do a TM meditation. You can do a guided meditation, whatever works for you. But if you're chanting or you're listening to a guided meditation, your brain and your energy is focused on that task. So what I would suggest is at the end of that activity to then just be quiet. So get yourself there any way you need to get there. Listen to that guided meditation, and then afterwards, you're good. Do your TM or do your chanting. After that, you're good. If you're a person that doesn't need to do any of that and can simply go into a meditation, you're good. The point is to get yourself, however you do it, to a point where your brain is asleep. Now, for me, I'm an overthinker. So I listen to guided meditations because I find it very hard to put my brain to sleep unless somebody guides me. I'm listening to somebody talk and they put me to sleep. Or unless I go into a trance. Now, for me personally, a meditation is here. A trance is here. Sometimes I don't want to go all the way out. Sometimes I want to be in a meditation. Brain waves are different, okay? And it's okay, whether you're doing a meditation or whatever you're doing, you can still access your higher self with the intention that I want to talk to my higher self. So you get yourself to this place where your brain is asleep, and then maybe you record this and you speak out loud, because sometimes it's hard to remember everything. But then you would just go, and your intention is, I want to talk to my higher self, and then wait. Stay in that beautiful energy. You should feel relaxed. You should feel happy. You should feel safe. You should feel zoned out. So you're going to stay there. Now, the first time you do this, they may or may not communicate with you. Just stay in this beautiful energy and see what happens. So it might take 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Whenever you're done, you feel like, well, I did that, but nobody came. No problem. You guys cannot, it's not helpful. It's not going to help you to put a timeline on dealing with higher ascended spirits and energies, right? You're putting a human time constraint on something that's just has no time. So what they would suggest is that you continue doing this. The more you continue doing it, like they're showing me, if your higher self is here, and the first time you do this, and it's like you shoot a little rocket up and it only goes to here. Okay, so you didn't quite get there, right? But then the next time you do it, you get a little bit higher. Get a little bit higher. And then the next time you do it, you get a little bit higher. So again, this is a process. The more you do this, the more you will work out those spiritual, metaphysical muscles, and you'll eventually get there, because that's your intention. You're not just meditating to be meditating. You're meditating to contact your higher self. Or maybe you're meditating to contact, Jesus or some ascended master, whatever you want. It's there for you. Okay. So I will finish this by saying that your spirit guides, your main spirit guides, are not going to get involved in your life with your terrible relationship, or maybe even your health, depending on whether your health or your terrible relationship gets in the way of your soul journey. If that terrible relationship is going to help you learn your soul lesson, be on your soul path, then they're surely not going to get in the way of that. They're going to help you get in that relationship so that you can learn that thing. Maybe it's standing up for yourself. Maybe it's putting down boundaries. Maybe it's speaking your truth. Maybe in this life, your soul journey, people are like, why am I here? Tell me what my soul path is. I think sometimes we think we're going to hear that our soul path is to be some amazing thing when in reality, it's standing up for yourself or having compassion for others or not being judgmental or expressing your soul in a new way, expressing your soul through art or music or writing, expressing your soul as a leader, expressing your soul as a compassionate caregiver. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to do a whole video on this right now, but I will tell you that's been my experience that people, because I asked them recently, I said, why would when I recently learned this is how hard it is. I just recently learned what my soul path is. And what's interesting is that they pushed me to do this when I was 30, when I was 40, when I was 50. So even in a different career, they pushed me to do this. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I can't. My energetic feeling about it was, I can't do that. I don't know. It scared the living daylights out of me. It terrified me. I felt like I couldn't pull it off. I couldn't do it. No. The answer is no. To the degree that I almost did it, I almost stepped into that role about 15 years ago, and instead I hired somebody to do it for me. It's nuts. I mean, it's nuts. I don't know why. So I was asking my guides, why was it so hard? Why is it so hard for us to learn about our soul journey? Why do we feel like it's a hot stove and we don't want to touch it? Why is that? Why are we so almost repulsed by it? And their answer was not satisfactory at all. And they said it was, the way they do with this, obviously is my helper guides, or it could have been my main guide because it was only 2 words and that's about right. You wanted it to be sporting. I wanted this life to be sporting because I said, if I would have chosen a different family, I would have aced this soul journey thing, man. I would have aced it. I would have started on that journey probably when I was 20 or 22 instead of 57. For real. Or maybe, I don't know, 50, I don't know, whatever, close. And I'm like, like humans do, we often think, well, that was a waste. I wasted my whole life trying to figure this out, right? Like I could have been acing my soul, this is how we think, right? And they said, you wanted it to be sporting. I wanted it to be sporting. So I picked a family that absolutely trained me to believe, inculcated me to believe that I could not do the thing that I came here to do. For real. I'm not kidding. So I had to overcome all that training, all those scripts, all that parental control, guidance, teaching. It wasn't done out of harm. Well, some of it was, but some of it wasn't. I had to overcome all that. We're so impressionable as children. And as children, you're just trying to quote unquote, kind of stay alive. I mean, you're just trying to stay out of trouble, right? Stay within the lanes of society, stay within the lanes of our parents, our family, do what's expected. So we take that stuff seriously, and then we bring it with us through our lives, only to find out that all of that was just simply roadblocks for you to become challenges so that you could overcome them, and continue on to your soul's path. It's crazy. I know it's crazy. That's why you have these main spirit guides that are constantly guiding you. So you do have these challenges, but then you've got this help. So when you have, there's ways that you can find out what your soul's path is. One thing you can do is that's helpful. And I am not an astrologer. I don't even play one on YouTube. I'm not an astrologer, but go look at your North Node. You can go get a chart done for cheap on a computer generated, or you can hire one of these great astrologers and you can ask them specifically to do your chart, but also to tell you where your North Node is and where they think your soul's journey is based on your North Node. Now, your North Node is not going to say, oh, you're supposed to be a concert pianist, or you're supposed to be a politician. It's not going to say that, but it might say you have energy that suggests that you would be a communicator. And when I take the North Node in with all these other planets, this is who you are. That's a big fat clue right there, a big fat clue as to who you're supposed to be in this life. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing you can do is get some cards, get some oracle cards or tarot cards, and say, what is my soul journey? Can you help me understand? Give me some information. Help me understand what my soul journey is. And pull a card. I mean, don't make it complicated. You don't have to pull, a whole Celtic cross. That's complicated. And when we make it complicated and we have all these different possibilities, then we just get lost in the minutia. And we don't really, when you have something like this, it's a simple question. I really want you to distill it down to something simple. So you can do that. You can get a reading. Although I will tell you that sometimes your spirit guides are like, yeah, this is what this person is supposed to be doing. And sometimes they're crickets. They're not telling me nothing. I can't. Sometimes they want you to work a little harder. You're supposed to figure it out on your own. Now, usually we can get around that to a degree. I can definitely tell you what your soul energy is and how it's expressing itself and your challenges. I mean, a psychic reading can be very helpful, right? But sometimes you just have to kind of put the pieces together. Like get an Akashic Records reading, get an astrology reading, and then get a psychic reading, and then sit down if you're this kind of person and put it together. Try to piece the puzzle together. And I will say to you that whatever scares you the most is most likely your soul's path. Okay? So I think I just went clear off, as I often do, clear off the whole thing of spirit guides, but hopefully you found this kind of helpful. Yeah, I hope you found it helpful. Way Out Wednesdays, right? Way Out Wednesdays. So listen, you guys, put your comments in the bottom of this video. Let me know what way out topic you would like for me to talk about, and I'll do it. I'll be happy to do it. I'm looking for ideas. I'll talk about any subject, past lives, aliens, whatever you want to talk about, I will talk about it. I am not an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm basically channeling what the guides want to tell me about the topic. That means I may leave some things out that you think are really important. I'm just channeling whatever the guides are telling me. It's not the easiest process. And sometimes it's not a full and complete presentation on that topic. Okay. We always encourage you to go and further research the topic. If you find this interesting, by all means, go out there and research it, learn more about it, expand your own consciousness regarding this topic. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me on Way Out Wednesday. I'll see you again next Wednesday for one of these interesting topical videos. And you take really good care of yourself. Okay. Talk soon.